MP Namal Rajapaksa remanded over financial transaction.
Supreme Court issues an interim order suspending the increase of VAT and NBT taxes.
Prime Minister says Supreme Court order will not affect the government's revenue collection.
Opposition activists demand action against those responsible for controversial coal deal.
You're with News First, Sri Lanka's premier news brand. This is Primetime News. A very good evening to all our viewers. I am Joel Outscore.
And I'm Jitendra Gunasena. Let's now take a look at this top story for tonight. President Maithripala Sirisena says that the National Drugs Prevention Programme will take place on a new phase next year. The President made this statement at an event held in Puttalam this afternoon.
The seventh phase of the National Drug Prevention Programme was held under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena at the Ananda National School grounds in Puttalam today. No matter how much they try to hide across the Devanna Oya, the country knows who is involved in this. So I respectfully request that the role of this programme be to bring forth exemplary politicians for our society. Everyone is aware that example is greater than advice. I am hoping to further strengthen the work being carried out by the police, the excise department and the tri-forces. Let us all commit ourselves to bringing forth an enlightened, drug-free nation in this world and set an example for a society with values. The President presented awards for individuals who extended their support in helping to eradicate drugs from the Puttalam district. A memorandum containing 1,000 signatures pledging to refrain from abusing drugs was presented to the President.
Welcome back to the news. Now, News First is ready to implement yet another phase of the Gum at the Door-to-Door campaign, a public service initiative which unearthed several issues faced by the people of Sri Lanka. We now cross over to News First Centre where Shahin Jurampati is standing by to bring you more on our latest initiative. Shahin, over to you.
The Gum at the 100-day initiative. With the people, for the people.
Well, thank you very much, Joel. Well, if you may recall, on the 23rd of February this year, News First visited every corner of the country, covering nearly 750 villages and all districts in the island, going from door to door under the Gum at the program to look into the burning issues faced by the people of Sri Lanka. Now, over the course of this 25-day outreach program, which concluded on the 18th of March, we at News First, together with the University of Peradeniya, identified a myriad of issues the people of Sri Lanka face as they have been neglected in terms of infrastructure and welfare development over the course of time. Now, taking into account the thousands of issues faced by these people, we compiled this report comprising of all issues faced by the people. However, unfortunately, the authorities have failed to address these issues, causing the people to continue to remain neglected. Now, this drove us at the Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited to take matters into our own hands and decided to represent the people ourselves in a bid to find and provide solutions to these issues and for the people who are faced by these issues, which is why we are initiating the next phase of the Gum at the program, the Gum at the 100-day initiative. We will commence work on this initiative on the 20th of July and will continue for 100 days until the 27th of October. Now, we will strive towards our objectives for the sole benefit of the people. However, we cannot do this alone. We need your assistance, the assistance of the general public, organizations, institutions, and so on and so forth. So if you wish to assist and support us in this endeavor and this initiative, we have established the Gum at the Secretariat at our head office based in Colombo. You can contact us on our number 0114 896 896. The number is 0114 896 896. You can email us on 100days@maharaja.lk. The email address once again is 100days@maharaja.lk. You can come talk to us at our address for number 45 upon 3 Braybrook Place, Colombo 2. And if you wish to get through to us via Facebook, you log on to www.facebook.com/newsfirstsl. That is www.facebook.com/newsfirstsl. And if you wish to get through to us via Twitter, it's @newsfirstsl. Now, until the commencement of the government, the 100-day initiative, we will draw your attention towards several burning issues daily, which we identified in a bid to get your support and assistance. Now, the first issue which we'll be drawing into limelight is, during our tour across the island in a bid to uncover the crisis faced by the people of Sri Lanka, we came across a number of issues faced by the people in the Dambulla area in the central province. Now, even though we exposed the dilapidated state of the stretch of road on the Dambulla-Vevela road from the Damanayaya junction to the Alakola Veva, the matter has fallen onto deaf ears.
There are a group of people who call themselves politicians. They only come here when the elections are near. They conduct various events, but now we don't even know where they are. The roads here were not even filled with gravel. It is very difficult for us to travel. The main source of income for us is generated through the sale of our produce, which we have to transport across this road.
Well, that was of course in Dambulla, where dilapidated state of the road from Dambulla to Vevela road from the Damanayaya junction to the Alakola Veva. Another issue which we came across was from the Hambegamo area in Tanamalvilo of the Monoragala district, which was another area congested with issues. Now, the issue faced by students of the Hambegamo Secondary School was a lack of water filters for the purpose of clean drinking water. However, this was among the many other requests that have gone unheard.
Ambegamo Mahavidyalaya is a school which represents 5 different jurisdictions. The water problem is a massive challenge for the schools as well as for the village. After living here for 10 years, I have decided to leave. I leave this area as a kidney patient. It has been proven.
There are about 600 students in this school and they are left to obtain water from a well which is murky and unclean. Water that is drawn from the marketplace is also not clean. There is no solution for this problem. Anyone who can give us at least a water filter to ease our burden will be doing us a great assistance.
Well, that was the issue faced in the Hambegamo area in Tanamalvila of the Monoragala district. Well, as I mentioned before, the Gammat the 100-day initiative will commence on the 20th of July and will go on for 100 days until the 27th of October. As I mentioned before, we will strive towards our goals just for the sole benefit of the general public of Sri Lanka. If you wish to assist and support us in this initiative, we have established the Gamma Secretariat at our head office in Colombo. You can contact us on our hotline 0114 896 896. The number is 0114 896 896. Our email address, if you wish to contact us, is 100days@maharaja.lk. That is 100days@maharaja.lk. You can come visit us at our address and speak to us at number 45 upon 3 Bradbury Place, Colombo 2. If you wish to get through to us via Facebook, it's www.facebook.com/Newsfirst.SL, and if Twitter, Newsfirst@SL. Thank you very much. Back to you, Joel.
Do you remember when we came to your doorstep to inquire into your issues through the Gammat the initiative? The time has now come for News First to join hands with the public to address the issues you face. We are ready. Are you?
The Gammat 100-day initiative. With the people, for the people.
Now, on to a headline-making story. Parliamentarian Namal Rajapaksa has been remanded until the 18th of July. The MP was remanded when he was produced before the Fort Magistrate by the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division following his arrest this afternoon.
The son of former President, Attorney-at-Law Namal Rajapaksa had been summoned to the police FCID this morning. The MP was summoned over an investigation into alleged money laundering and the alleged misuse of 70 million rupees provided by a private company for a rugby tournament in 2013. A group including several MPs had gathered opposite the FCID today. MP Namal Rajapaksa was taken into custody and produced before Fort Magistrate Lanka this afternoon. Attorneys representing Namal Rajapaksa argued in court that none of the companies involved in such a transaction had lodged a complaint. The FCID responded that while there was no complaint, statements had been submitted. While attorneys for Namal Rajapaksa countered that the submission of statements was not carried out in a proper manner, the magistrate ordered that the statements be recorded once again as per procedure. The court granted the FCID a week to complete this task and ordered that MP Namal Rajapaksa be placed in remand custody during this time frame. Meanwhile, former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa was summoned before the FCID this morning. Gotabaya Rajapaksa has been summoned to provide a statement over the provision of funds to the D.A. Rajapaksa Foundation, and the statement was recorded from him for about 2.5 hours.
Several ministers in the current government had said recently that several prominent figures in the joint opposition would be taken into custody in the future. This is what joint opposition MPs said to the media. As the former defence secretary, what is your opinion on this?
If a minister is saying that persons will be arrested in the near future, that indicates that these arrests are being made for the wants of ministers.
Will you support the journey of the joint opposition?
I'm not a politician. I'm still not a politician. Not yet.
Basil Rajapaksa said yesterday that a Padayatra has been organised. Will you join this?
No, I will not join it, but it is good to walk. UPFA parliamentarian Kumar Valgama was also summoned to the police FCID this morning to provide a statement on the procurement of spare parts for the Sri Lanka Transport Board during his tenure as the Minister of Transport. We got in and we go out. I came prepared to go in. I have not been informed if I will be summoned again. If I am summoned, I will come. This is like home now. The FCID is like home. And in news from courts that made it to the headlines this evening, the Supreme Court issued an interim order today suspending the increased value-added tax or VAT and nation-building tax, also known as NBT. The order was issued when fundamental rights petitions filed by a group including MP Bimal Weerawansa was taken up at the Apex Court today. The petitions were considered before a 3-member bench comprising of Chief Justice Kesri Pavan and Justices Buwanakadu Vihara and Prasanna Jayawardena. The petitioners sought an interim order from the Supreme Court preventing the implementation of the VAT and NBT taxes as increased via a statement issued by the Commissioner of Inland Revenue effective on the 2nd of May this year. Considering submissions made today, the court noted that the constitution and the law of the country had not been considered when imposing the increased VAT and NBT taxes. The bench reiterated that it be good governance or any other form of governance, a government must act within the 4 corners of the law when governing a country. Furthermore, the bench informed that the interim order preventing the imposition of the increased VAT and NBT taxes would be operative until the final determination of the petitions or until Parliament adopts a bill legitimizing the increased taxes. In truth, there was a black and white argument here. The Constitution and the relevant Act clearly outlines the procedure for increasing or expanding taxes. The government faction was unable to mount a powerful opposing argument. As such, the Supreme Court, like separating milk from water, noted that there was a truth evident in this matter and they have given a fair decision. The petition will be taken up for argument on the 6th of December.
Minister of Finance Ravi Karunanayake convened a media briefing in Colombo today.
Some may misunderstand the interim order issued by the Supreme Court. This interim order has been issued only until the VAT is passed in the Parliament or until a verdict is issued. The verdict will be issued on the 7th of December. We will pass this on the 20th in the Parliament. We have informed this to the court as well. Once it is passed, the revenue collection will return to normal from the 2nd of May. That is what has been presented here.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe issued a statement today noting that the interim order issued by the Supreme Court is not expected to have any adverse impact on the government revenue collection. The Prime Minister notes that the VAT Amendment Bill has already been presented to Parliament for the first reading on the 8th of July 2016 and the second reading is expected on the 23rd of July 2016. He concludes that the unity government, which has a clear majority in Parliament, expects the legislative process to be completed before the end of the month and thereafter the revised rates will be applicable with effect from the 2nd of May 2016.
Welcome back to the news. Now, still in local news, the Anti-Corruption Front states that they will initiate legal action if the government does not take necessary punitive action against those responsible for the controversial coal scam.
A meeting was held between the Minister of Power and Renewable Energy and the Anti-Corruption Front on the future course of action regarding the controversial coal scam.
Serious charges have not been levelled against the tender committee through the court ruling. There are a number of issues that have also been pointed out through the Auditor General's report. The Minister of Power and Renewable Energy is yet to respond to the issues highlighted through the report. The court had given a direction to the authorities on what should be done. Therefore, the Ministry and the CEB should take necessary steps in this regard. Else, as civil society organisations, we will have to initiate legal action.
Issuing a media release regarding the discussion, the Ministry of Power and Renewable Energy stated that the subject minister would be making a statement in this regard before Parliament in the coming days. News First revealed details over the weekend how the country suffered losses to the tune of 1.2 billion rupees through a coal procurement deal in 2015. Through this report, we pointed out that the officials involved in this deal had misled the entire cabinet of ministers when reaching a decision on this deal.
Through the Supreme Court ruling, the judges have made it very clear as to who is responsible. Now that there is a ruling in this regard, all they have to do is act on it. However, the very same individuals who are involved in this deal are in the cabinet. So who will action be taken against? Although the Supreme Court has not stated who is directly responsible, they have made clear observations. They note that there was an issue in the manner this tender was awarded. Keep in mind that this deal was approved by the Cabinet and its subcommittee, so the entire Cabinet is responsible for this. A comprehensive investigation should be held into this. We are waiting to see how individuals who committed fraud worth billions will be punished. We expect that they would be punished. The value-added tax is unbearable. The electricity bills are unbearable. Do not waste public money. The government needs to come up with a program to recover the lost money and ease the burdens of the people by removing VAT.
Views was expressed in this regard during the Newsline program broadcast this morning.
They say that there's no local standard and so on, but they also give direction that unfortunately there's a word again that is a little bit ambiguous there, because it's the final order says that the Lanka Coal Company may cancel the tender.
Actually, our Supreme Court still is very strong. Don't underestimate our Supreme Court. We got some wonderful people there. Like I think it's time that we name names, because they're such great men. Chitra Siri, Prasanna Jayawardena, Priyanta Jayawardena, Eva Vanasundara, very strong judge, yes. Chandra Ekanayaka, Sisira Diabru. We have wonderful people, and these people to me are as good as Neville Samarakon or take for example Dheeraratna, Ranjit Dheeraratna, ARB Amarasinghe, Mark Fernando. We have giants, and they are still giants. But why do we have to be so feeble and weak in this judgment? Because if you look at it, no finger is pointed at any public servant.
Attention has been drawn to reports that have emerged citing that a sum of 2.4 million rupees worth of currency notes were stolen from the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. A number of newspapers carried out reports noting that currency notes worth 2.5 million rupees, which were marked to be destroyed at the central bank, had been stolen by a bank employee. The reports also noted that the suspect had been arrested and remanded after being produced in court.
Now, in the case of the unsizable currency note, they have been destroyed by a machine. When the currency note is fed into that particular machine, it immediately identifies whether this currency note is a genuine currency note or a forged currency note. Once it has been identified that the currency note is a genuine currency note, then the machine will separate it into the serviceable currency notes and unsizable currency. What has happened here is, before these particular bundles are fed into the current machine, some employee would have pulled them out, and he had done this for a period of time and taken them out of the bank building, which actually is a reflection of a lack of proper supervision in the currency department. So, once these things are detected, normally central bank reports it to the CID. CID makes a proper inquiry, and the people who have done that are taken to the normal legal process.
Meanwhile, the Pavadi Handa organization expressed the following views on the former governor of the central bank. No proper steps have been taken against Arujana Mahendran by the government up to this point of time. Instead of punishing him, they are criticizing the audit report, are spinning stories that an expert panel needs to be appointed to study it, and are continuing to protect him. It is a major problem for the people as to why the government is squirming over this person when the country has incurred a loss of about 150 billion rupees. We ask why he is not being taken into the FCID or the Presidential Commission. Clear information is coming to light regarding this scam. However, sources have informed us that they are preparing to appoint him as an advisor.
Former chairman of the Shillong Chamber of Commerce, Chandra Jayarathne, has requested the UNP members of the Committee on Public Enterprises, also known as COPE, to discharge their duties in an independent, professional and open-minded manner.
In an open letter to the United National Party members of COPE, Chandra Jayarathne notes that the memories of all those who canvassed for the January 8th regime change and in the general elections are not short nor fading, while reminding that transparency, good governance, rule of law, justice, anti-corruption and waste control were the main platform themes for the presidential and general elections. Chandra Jayarathne recalls that these members of COPE, when in the opposition, agitated against irregularities, which includes a select committee in Parliament acting in haste on the dictates of their leadership and unfairly determining that the then Chief Justice was guilty and should be impeached. Chandra Jayarathne says that it is the fervent hope of those who supported the UNP into office that these recent memories and commitments will be the guiding principles when taking a decision within the COPE committee on the bond issue. The former Ceylon Chamber of Commerce chairman goes on to say that it is not the duty of COPE to declare a verdict of guilty or not guilty, but to merely satisfy whether the weighted evidence points to the essential need for the committee to refer this issue to the relevant law enforcement agency to investigate and determine whether a serious offence has taken place in respect of bond issues of the 27th of February 2015 and the 29th and 31st of March 2016. Chandra Jayarathne says it is the firm belief of civil society members that the bond scams of March 2016 are unpardonable, unacceptable and cannot be condoned by anyone in society with a just and fair mind due to issues including the change in auction system being unilaterally imposed by the governor without monetary board approval merely on a decision and announcement by the Prime Minister. The governor ignoring the effective ownership control by his son-in-law of the Perpetual Group and failing to discharge obligations as per the governance code of the central bank in relation to conflicts of interest and related party transactions, and it being clear that the dealer of the EPF may have a direct hand in the scam execution. Chandra Jayarathne requests the UNP members of COPE that they desist from any action that risks the future of this country, its future generations, as well as be cognizant of the current socio-political economy. The image internationally of the country risks to be damaged permanently, and above all, the impressions the voters will have.
Construction of the 39th model village in the Hambantota district commenced under the auspices of the Minister of Housing and Construction, Sajid Premadasa, today. The village has been named as Sundarugama will see the construction of 25 houses. Land deeds were awarded by Minister Premadasa at the occasion, while concessionary housing loans were distributed to low-income families. You saw recently how various persons were made to get onto the streets to protest against these free trade agreements. Now I would like to ask those who protested, wasn't it the right decision by the government to sign these free trade agreements with China, India, Malaysia, Singapore and Turkey amidst Britain's decision to leave the European Union?
A meeting was held in Kandy today under the auspices of former Minister Basil Rajapaksa. Following the conclusion of the meeting, the former minister spoke to the media.
A group including parliamentarians, provincial councillors and Pradesh Sabha members were present at the occasion.
First, they took away the democratic rights and then the civic rights. For 1.5 years, our local government officials have not been able to serve the general public. They have taken away the people's right to vote. Under the guise of the new constitution, they are attempting to take away the sovereignty of the country. We engaged in discussions on a way in which this could be stopped.
මාව නෙවෙයි ඉතින් මහින්ද ජනාධිපතිතුමාව ඉලක්ක කරන්නේ මාව අර දානෝ ඉස්සරහට ඒක ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ.
In an event held today, Minister S.P. Dissanayake criticized the manner in which former Minister Basil Rajapaksa served while he was in office.
Basil Rajapaksa
The biggest damage caused by Basil Rajapaksa to the Samurdhi scheme is his decision to create distance between the district secretaries and the divisional secretaries. We are suffering the consequences of it. We are unable to even provide benefits for 25% of the Samurdhi beneficiaries at this point of time, even when the banks have money. There is money, but we have fallen short. The money is being circulated among other commercial banks of the country at a very low interest rate. This is because the district secretaries are the ones who pulled the weight of this. The divisional secretaries who carried the burden on behalf of the country's poor and the deprived were removed from this project. I don't know why that was done. Now we need to make the wrongs right and strengthen this through the divisional and district secretaries.
The application of vibhuti on the forehead is a timeless ritual that has been observed in the holy city of Kathragama. Vibhuti, an ash-like substance, can be found in abundance in areas surrounding the sacred city.
Devotees worship the Kathragama deity and apply vibhuti to their foreheads, anticipating the god's blessings. Vibhuti can be found near the Kathragama temple, and as the Perara draws near, villagers begin digging for the substance. Many involved in the Vibhuti trade here claim that the powder is even exported to India for use in religious rituals. According to local mythology, the Asura titan which battled the deity of Kathragama, Lord Skanda, brought a mountain from the Himalayas to Lanka, and the mountain was shattered by Lord Skanda. Devotees claim that the ashes of this mountain is the vibhuti that can be found in abundance in Kathragama today.
The Old Thomians Rugby Football Union states that they are strongly disagreeing and are deeply disappointed by the Sri Lanka Schools Rugby Football Association's decision to change the venue of the President's Cup final between Royal College Colombo and Isipatana College Colombo, which was worked off on the 9th of July. The president of the OTRFU, Tariq Munna, expressed the view of the union through a letter to the president of the Schools Rugby Football Association.
President of the Old Thomians Rugby Football Union, Tariq Munna, states that a request for a change of venue for the second semi-final of the President's Cup tournament between Royal College of Colombo and St. Thomas's College, Mount Lavinia, was declined by the Sri Lanka Schools Rugby Football Association, or SLS-RFA, citing that sponsors would have an issue with the change of venue. The OTRFU, however, notes that the decision to change the location of the final based on a request extended by Isipatana College Colombo confirms beyond doubt that the purported claims that the sponsor had an issue with the change of venue is totally incorrect and misleading. According to the OTRFU, it clearly illustrates the lack of uniformity in the decisions made by the SLS-RFA. Meanwhile, the warden of St. Thomas's College, Mount Lavinia, recently decided to step down from his position as vice president of the SLS-RFA following the decision by the SLS-RFA to change the venue of the President's Cup final. In a letter announcing his resignation from the position, the warden of St. Thomas's College, Mount Lavinia, called on the SLS-RFA to introduce a rule that any match